Recording in progress. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Before the First Cast with your host, Calvin. Guys, I'm super excited about this episode of Before the First Cast. Guys, we're in springtime. We're in March. This is one of the best times to fish, in my opinion. So I'm not even going to, drag this intro out. Let's jump into it. So March is the beginning of spring. March means that the bass are shifting. What does that mean? The bass are shifting into moving shallower for the upcoming spring. And it's a shift in bass behavior. In March, the bass begin to move shallow. If you're in the center core of the country, your bass are starting to move shallow all throughout. And what we call March in the middle of the country is Big Bass March. Depending on the weather, the bass are beginning to make moves. Um, and due to the length of days, it doesn't matter if the weather is cold, warm, you have it. They they will make moves. What does this mean? They're about to start feeding. Um, this is your time of year. March is considered a power fishing month, and I will be going over my baits that I would like to use in the month of March. Um, so let's jump into the baits. So I know some of you guys are sitting there thinking, what bait should I throw this time of month or this time of year? Some of you guys, you still may have ice on your lake in parts. Some of you guys, like down in Florida, your bass are on beds. So this bait selection is more gauged towards my center to maybe up north fishermen. My number one choice, if we're talking power fishing, I'm going with the trusty old chatterbait. Um, why do I go to a chatterbait this time of year? So this time of year, our we're trying to locate fish. A chatterbait does a great job of locating groups of fish. Um, Also, a chatterbait is a very responsive bait, and you want that responsive bait to feel like you don't want to feel monotonous when you're fishing because you're covering a lot of water. So you want to feel what that bait's doing. And I really like to feel a responsive bait when I'm fishing it. You have the blade to vibrate. I just love that feeling. Also my trailer, I don't have one on this one. I am gonna go with the missile bait spunk shad. Um, it just pairs really well with the chatterbait. It's just a fish catcher. Sorry, I can't even speak today. Um, so once we have located the fish, and most likely this time of year, if you locate a fish, you're gonna find pretty much a group of fish. So my next bait that I'm gonna go to is a jerk bait. Now I have the Mega Bass 110 in my hand. I think this is actually the plus two. I couldn't find my 110. But once you find that group of fish and you're fishing, you can cause an absolute feeding frenzy with this bait. So that is what we're looking for in March is once you find that group of fish, a jerkbait does a really good job of causing that feeding frenzy that happens in a group of fish. And you'll be catching some small ones, you'll be catching some, medium-sized one, but then that larger fish is going to get really attracted to your bait when all that feeding chaos is going on. So it's really important to once you find a group of fish, continue to fish this jerkbait. And another thing I want to talk about the jerkbait is it's different. There's different ways to fish the jerkbait, and this time of year you don't want to fish the jerkbait slow like you would in the wintertime. This is the time of year you really want to fish the jerkbait with a fast cadence. Whether that be rip, rip, pause, rip, 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 just keep ripping it. That's what's going to cause that feeding frenzy, which is crazy. My next one and it's my ultimate favorite. I'm gonna go with the square bill crankbait. Again, this thing is a tried and true to my box. It never leaves it. This is what we call a a reel and retrieve bait. You stop and go. That's what it's called. Because you can burn, pause this bait, and it's just gonna get absolutely demolished. And I always have one of these in my box in the springtime because it is a really good fish locator as well. I'd really go for the silent ones, and I may go to one that has a little bit of a rattle to it. But this bait is gonna be really good coming in the next couple months. Um, so my there's an honorable mention in here. Sorry, excuse me. There's an honorable mention in this category as well. I don't fish it a lot because normally I'm in the back of a boat, but I thought I would mention it because there's a lot of guys and anglers that fish this bait this time of year, which absolutely is crazy. It gets crazy big bites, and that's the Alabama rig. Um, in a lot of states, it's still legal to fish the Alabama rig, and um, or there's limitations on how many hooks you can fish with it. Um, and a lot of guys fish the Alabama rig with blades, which is totally fine. The blades have a lot more drawing power to the bait, but think about if your lake is super clear, like a clear lake, or honestly Smith Mountain Lake. You think some of these bass have seen those bladed A rigs a lot. I just want to kind of trigger your mind and say, what about fishing the A rig without a blade? It's not intrusive to them. It's kind of a natural bait ball, really, with not a lot of flash, and it doesn't feel as intrusive on them. So I just wanted to mention the A rig just to see what you guys thought about it. And it would be tied on if I was really fishing them in the front of the boat. So let's continue with my baits. Um, my next bait is gonna be honestly, it's gonna be a lipless. And what do we do? And if you notice the color I have, it's a crawfish color. I also will have the shad ghosty colors for my clear water, but we're not fishing a lipless like throwing it out there and retrieving it. We're gonna fish a lipless by bouncing it off the bottom, or we call it yo-yoing. Why would we yo-yo this time of year? Well, really, we're trying to get a reaction bite out of the bass. So when a bass sees you rip your rod tip up and let the bait fall back down, it looks like a dying bait fish in cold water, and it really looks like a snack for these fish. I would like to go find some deep rock piles like drains and try to find a rock pile or something and rip it off the rock pile to see if I can get bass to come off of that rock pile and really just eat up eat that bait on the fall or as you're ripping it back up. My last bait, and I didn't really get into this until really late in the game. If you guys could see this, this is a swim bait. This swim bait is awesome. Um, your swim bait bites are nuts. You can really just get thumped on a swim bait. Um, there's several. There's hard body. There's soft bodies. A lot of people like to throw the mag draft. Mag draft's great. Um, I would recommend the smaller version of the mag draft. You can't go wrong with it. And they get big bites. What can you say? So if you guys like this kind of content, please let us know at thebasscastradio.com or just shoot us a Facebook message or an email to Brian. He will get it. Guys, I really hope this helps you if you're going out this weekend to either fun fish or you got a tournament. I really hope you go out there and just absolutely smash on them. Again, if you like tips and tricks videos, Um, please let us know. Guys, really thank you guys for listening and watching. And we will catch you guys next Friday. I hope you have a blessed weekend, and we will see you later. Thanks, guys.